It's safe to say that for over a decade, Hernan Cattaneo is a bona fide superstar as an eminent presence at both festivals and underground party circuit. This legend has had the front row seat for dance music culture's skyrocketing growth over the past decade. An Argentinian native, Hernan has single-handedly championed the legacy that boasts of 30 years of DJing, 30 singles, 11 albums and countless remixes. And over the last 48 hours, I've just gotten to know that he is a gem of a heart. With a big round of applause, please welcome Hernan Cattaneo. Alright guys, so we're going to make it a very special talk show here, heart to heart. If you guys feel like coming in between with a question or two, you're more than welcome. I'm going to start with asking some questions a little bit about that we want to know, since the legend himself is here and there's so much that we would actually want to know, what he's done in the last 3 decades. Hernan, you've flown from one corner of the world to India. It's a long ass flight, tiring. India, which is a land of 1 billion souls, progressing on all fronts. What's the word on India in the global circuit? What are you hearing? Is there anything going on outside when you travel all around, meet other DJs who play here? What's the word right now in India?
Especially lately, I would say in the last 18 months, I start hearing a lot from my friends, DJs, people like IJ, Guy Mansu, that they've been playing here, and then they tell me, you must go back to India. I mean go back, because I came like 7 years ago and it wasn't good, but it wasn't great. And then I didn't come back for a while, but they were saying, no, this time you have to go work with these guys, things are really changing and growing. And as far as I see in the last 48 hours it is, I just did one show last night. And it was a really good and really good start for the tour. I'm looking forward to play tonight as well. But going back to your questions, yes, I would say for the first time you hear about India everywhere, and of course that's a really good thing to happen. That's why people start talking, and then you create the interest in the whole music industry. And the same way you now have ADE, which is one of the most important conferences around the world. And you have it here in Mumbai, and you don't have it in New York, you don't have it in Poland, you have it here in Mumbai. So that's a great support to what you guys been doing here in India.
Yes. Well, that's absolutely true. And last night we were in Hyderabad. Hernan has just launched his album today. Can we have a round of applause for that? Balance album, and he's on a tour right now, 4 cities in India, and it was Hyderabad last night, which was a Thursday night with over 500 people till 3 a.m. So the talks it leads. Yes, so India is definitely, according to me and many other here, we believe that it's really making some noise in the global scene. People are digging in more, finding out more about the artists, about the clubs, about the festivals, about everything else that's going on. How do you think, this brings me to my next question, how do you think Indian producers and DJs can somehow diminish this geographical distance, because we are kind of a little away from the mainstream scene of Europe and America and the big parties, the big festivals. We kind of feel a little bit aloof, being on this side of the planet. So how do you think that the producers and DJs who have the talent, who have the knack of rocking any dance floor in the world, what's the way forward to diminish this distance and to mark its presence and make a way for us to, according to you think, because you travel and you see, you playing lineups with new DJs and stuff, and they make it from various different places in the world. So do you have, can you give us some ideas or some?
Yeah, I can tell you from my experience, I'm from Argentina, which is also far away from the center of capitals of the world. And it's kind of tricky because, so far, at least in the last 20 years, all Argentinian DJs that they came successfully in the international scene, it was by going to live in Europe or America, you know, not from I moved to London 17 years ago, and other DJs that you guys may know, like Guti or Baron, you know,
moved to London. You moved to London to stay there, or
I was originally doing a tour with Paul Oakenfold, and his agency came to the tour and just said to me, if you want to pursue an international career, you have to move here. Nobody's going to bring you every weekend from Buenos Aires to Europe. So if you move here and you stay here, you're going to have a good career. And so I did, and luckily, you know, I spent the last 17 years traveling around the world. I just moved back to Argentina for family, but you know, like being in England the first 5 years and then 8 in Barcelona was crucial for me. You know, it's like, and this would apply to what your question and the local DJs. You know, of course, if you move tomorrow, if you move to Central Europe, it's going to be easier for you to do the big festivals and shows and stuff. It's not necessarily that you have to move forever. You know, you can go maybe do a season. For example, the summer season is super strong in Europe and America. So you could go there for 5 months, do all the big shows, and then come back to India. Because also, in my case, you know, when I moved to Europe, I was originally worked a lot and built a lot in the Argentinian scene. As far as I see here, the Indian scene needs the local DJs now here, building the scene. And once the scene is safe and super well established, then you guys can, because if you guys go to Europe, then nobody's going to be holding the Indian scene. And also I think it's important that you know, regardless all this is a very global scene and stuff, but you have to bring something from India to the international scene. You know, like you know, when I went to England for the first time, you know, I was an Argentinian DJ playing the Argentinian way, and it was different than the English way, and that's why I have my space over there, because I was a bit different than the other guys. And I'm sure you have your own roots and your culture, and you do things in a different way, and that would be important. I always think that for DJs and producers, it's super important to have your own personality and not just exactly. You know, you have to keep your own Indian identity, regardless that we all know that club music or any music, you know, that there is no boundaries. I'm not talking about that, but just add something to add to what everybody else knows already.
So yes, not to lose the identity, and definitely to take something from here to the world, for them to also expect something.
Yeah, exactly. You have to bring something new to the table, you know. Otherwise, you know, it's just, you know, there's 100 million DJs already over there.
Okay. You're known to be a man with a huge heart. You know, I've seen that. People have come to me and told me, and in the last 40 years, I've realized that. Extremely compassionate and very easygoing, like no fucks to give. But what takes the cake away is your willingness to help people, especially the newcomers, the new producers, the new DJs. You have this knack of picking up people and putting their music out. And how important do you think it is in this world today, the way the world is shaping up, to just go out there and help people? I mean, as an artist, do you think it's a big responsibility upon us to help people?
You know, as I said before, I come from Argentina, which is like being far away, like you guys here, and we all know we need to help each other. You know, if you living in Europe or America, things are somewhat difficult. They're somewhat easier, but for us, it's kind of difficult. When I start in the music scene, you know, there was no way to get information, albums, equipment. Actually, now, you know, I was recently with the Pioneer guys out there, and they say, do you see this equipment in Argentina? I say, no, there's no Pioneer in Argentina. You know, I mean, there's no official Pioneer, because we had a government that didn't allow any imports to the country. So, you know, that's the state of things in a third world country. So we may have one of the best crowds around the world, you know, but being a DJ is kind of difficult, and the same for you. So what I'm saying is that on my way to where I am now, I got the help from a lot of people, starting from, you know, DJs
international DJs, agencies, management, etc. So first is the karma, I have to give back what I got earlier on in my life, and second, I know how difficult it is for a young Indian producer or Argentinian or from Poland, to get some visibility around the world, and we are the ones that we can help on that. So of course it's great to do it. And also, there's so much talent around the world that, since these guys, they don't have the chance, they would go completely unnoticed. And, and for us, I, for example, I do a weekly podcast, or I do the charts or the compilations, or my record label, or on my DJ sets, you put the music of these guys on those. And of course, you give them a big push, and then of course it's up to them, to take from there to the next level. But as I said before, on one side is karma, I should give back, and also I think the whole industry benefits from if all of us, the ones we are in a certain position, a privileged position. We have the new kids, the scene is going to get bigger and better all the time.
Well, let me mention here that Hernan played one of my tracks on his podcast, and in 3 days' time there were labels writing to me and asking me about if I wanted to sign the track. And I hadn't even met him, it was just through somebody, and he just put it up, and he's helped other Indian DJs also quietly without even making a noise. It's such a great sign, because we have, of course, a lot of people who come to India, a lot of artists come, mega ones, people who come touring. Every week there are about 5 international artists who are coming, but we've noticed that so far it's only playing a great time and go back, but very few people have kind of started giving it back. They started realizing that yes, this is, as you just said, karma, which is really a very high level thought process, but not everybody thinks like that, and still.
Maybe they didn't need any help to get to where they are, so they don't realize how important it is for some other people to do it.
You went through it.
Without the help of some people, I would never have reached to the place where I am. I think, some of you guys know the story. I was a local DJ in Argentina until Paul Oakenfold, who was the #1 DJ at that time, he came to Argentina, heard me play, and took me internationally, and since then I never came back. So of course, my grateful to him and to people like him, or after that, people like John Dewey, Sasha, Danny Tenaglia, Nick Warren, they all helped me a lot, and they treat me like them, and they share with music. Paul signed me to the labels, did my first compilation with him. So that's impossible to give value to that help, So of course, I'm not in a position to give so much to young kids, but I do as much as I can.
But in your ways, can you share some ways in which you think we can help ourselves between friends, as DJs, as co-DJs, and you think there are a few things that between us we should have certain compassion, certain qualities that, which could be helpful for ourselves, within ourselves?
Well, I think generosity is the first thing you have to keep in mind, for example, you're building your company, you're doing great jobs, you're doing really good parties, and of course, you know how important it is for, every other DJ around, they want to be in your party, so you have to share that, you are the lucky one that get the chance to bring international DJs, book the clubs, do the tours and that. Okay, so maybe there are other ones that they are not so lucky as you, but they can be a benefit for you as well if you keep them on board, and they all, like a brotherhood, they all push together. It's the same, like you mentioned earlier that you gave me a track and I pushed and it was good for you, but it was good for me as well, because I need that music to make my show, and my fans around the world hear, they can say, oh, we met this guy, and they hear the show because they know that they're gonna hear music from all over the world that otherwise they wouldn't know. So, and I need that, otherwise without guys like you or many others that give me the music, I couldn't do the show as well. So it's a two-way thing, it's not just me being the super nice guy, it's just
Awesome. Well, in this industry, there's a lot of pressure. The more known you become, the more pressure you put on yourself, and I think the more insecure at certain times you feel. when you reach a certain spot. Do you still have these moments of insecurity, or when you're not sure, do you sometimes feel this way, like, oh my god, what's going to happen if I take it too easy, or if I am like too laid back, if I'm helping too many people and not maybe too much focusing on my music or something? Do you get that insecurity thing after so many years of putting music?
I don't feel insecure because I always been very stubborn, very, very stubborn since I was a very young kid. I always knew what I wanted, and I still know what I want. But of course, there are certain periods like things are not the way you expect, and you have to adapt, or at least you are not so happy. We today at the airport we have this conversation with you. Like I seen that most DJs, when they are at the most popular moment, they deliver the worst, because the pressure of delivering to so new publics and becoming too popular is not a good thing for some DJs, especially in the underground ones, because they go from underground to overground, and when they are at the underground music, it doesn't work. So and they don't know what to do, and as soon as they come back to the underground, they are back brilliant again. That I've seen that happen many times, and I felt that at the moment when I was at the DJ Top 10, when everybody's expecting you to rock every tent, and you get the attention of a lot of people that they don't really know who you are or what to play. They just think, oh, because he's in the top 10, then it's amazing, and maybe they have not a clue of what you do. So that's never a good moment. But in general, as I said, I'm very stubborn. I feel like I only try to do things that that makes me happy. I don't do things just to get to a place. Like if you give me a record tonight and say, oh, people love this record, they're gonna love you. When I hear it and I don't like it, I'm not gonna play it. I don't mind. And if I show you a record and say people won't like this record, and say I don't mind, I have to play it because I like it. I need to try myself and try to push.
You need to justify your feeling, your own happiness, before putting.
Well, for me, the only way that feeling happy is like if I get to. I mean, for me, success is like a successful party. For example, it's like if I make the people happy with the music I like. That
music you like.
Exactly.
Yes.
It has to be. Otherwise, it wouldn't. Why I'm there to play music they like if I don't like.
Correct. That's a compromise in some way. If you're playing what they like.
That's the challenge. The challenge is to arrive to a place where they may not know you, like yesterday, in Hyderabad. Maybe some people know me but never heard me before, and say, okay, I'm here, I like this music, I'm gonna try to make you have a good time with this music. That's the only music I can play,
Great. There's also a lot of, in the last maybe a decade or 7 to 8 years, there's a big usher of EDM, which kind of took the authenticity of music somewhere. It's a very debatable thing, but overall, I mean, some time back even I was under the thought process that yes, maybe it's not too authentic and stuff, but over the years we realized that they have a big role to play in how the underground works. It's somehow correlated, it's proportionate to each other. We had a little chat about that the other day. Would you give some light on how the scene is equally proportionate, and that grows, this grows too, and it's kind of benefits each other in some ways?
Yes, I absolutely. I would say it this way: if underground, like the music we like, would be the only music, the scene would be 1/10 of what it is now. And it was like that up until EDM arrives. Once EDM arrives, the scene explodes and multiplied by 1 million. And after that, after a while, we all scared, because it's for a while seemed that they would take over everything and there would be nothing interesting in what we were doing. But after a while, the kids that entered through the scene through EDM start growing and wanted to listen to other stuff. And some went to see you, some went to see me, some went to see him. So and now we end up all being benefited by the enormous amount of people that EDM brought to the scene. So EDM is there. You don't have to like it. You don't have to hear it. You don't have to go to the EDM shows. Just wait, patience,
Indeed.
while all those million kids grow up a little bit, and then they will be at your shows. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's that was a eye opener for me also over the last few years of seeing how the way things are moved in India. Of course, we have a lot of great festivals happening here, which is bringing people in, and the clubs are starting to becoming double packed. You don't expect 20 clubs to rock on one night, but it's happening in a city like Mumbai.
They help all over the world. They help the scenes to grow a lot. But also, I honestly, I don't see the point of I hear people sometimes criticizing all the time to the DJs and stuff. It's like, when you go to the movies, you choose the movies you like. You don't spend all day talking about the movies you don't like. Of course, there's, Hollywood crap and Hollywood good, and Bollywood crap and Bollywood good.
Indeed.
And that's it. But there's no problem. So you just think about what is good for you and live and let live. Live and let live.
Yeah. Anyone has a question for Hernan here? We'll come back to my questionnaire, but I would want to see if anyone wants to ask something one-on-one. Yes, Mr. Rane.
Hi, Anna.
Check the mic. Thanks.
So, Anna, I just wanted to ask you, with such an enormous experience under your belt, you've seen, or you've had maybe hundreds and thousands of artists open for you at your shows. So, and a lot of artists have said that opening for bigger artists is one of the most toughest jobs. This is not easy to set the pace right for the artist that's going to play after you. So, what do you think right now? The opening artists, are they doing it right? Are they doing it wrong? Is there any message that you would want to give to them?
Well, I start my international career by being a warm-up DJ. I told you I got all my lucky break by warming up for Paul in Argentina. He liked what I did, and then he took me around the world to open his shows. So, of course, it was the biggest exposure ever for me at that time. And of course, it was a big pressure at first because you want to do the right job. The guy, one of the biggest guys in the business, pick you up, and you are in front of normally you go from playing for 200 people to playing to 20,000 people because that's their audience, not yours. But of course, you have to be there and you have to deliver. But I think the first thing is that you have to do is that you understand what you are doing. What's the warm-up job? You are not the main DJ. It's like imagine like you and me together. We invite our friends to eat to our house, and you're gonna make the starter, and I'm gonna be the main course. So if you do the starter, you're not gonna bring ice cream. You know what I mean? You're gonna bring some light appetizers, and because that's what you're doing. And me, I'm gonna be, because I'm the main DJ, I'm gonna bring the big chicken and all the other stuff. So related to music, I think it's very easy to understand. The warm-up DJ set the tempo of the night. Don't play big hits. Don't play fast records. Don't just get the people into the mood, but also don't go too much on the other side to bore the people, because if I, as a main DJ, I arrive and people is bored, it's not good as well. The perfect thing is like you go, you know what I play, because you have to prepare. So if you're gonna warm up for a certain DJ, you have to know what he's gonna play. So you have to go until the point where he usually starts. So there's like a certain how you say, journey kind of thing. And I think that's the main thing. You have to understand that you are not the star of the night, but you can have a lot of benefit from being there. So let your ego in your house. That's not your night. Your night is gonna come other day, but maybe you have a big night after doing that warm up.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rahul, for the question. Coming back, there is a lot of this industry is very difficult. There's a lot of hard work, which leads into a solid competition on all levels, whether you're a beginner, whether you're a newcomer, medium, or a big star. And most of the times the competition takes a very negative edge, because unfortunately our upbringing and conditioning has always given us that kind of knowledge that, you have to come first in class, you have to be first here, you have to beat that guy, beat this guy. So it's always competition in your mind, and sometimes it takes a little negative edge how do you think that we can eradicate negativity in a practical way, like for me and for you today? I mean, not just words, but things that we can actually do to eradicate that in terms of actions. What, according to you, because I've seen you maintain a very healthy relationship with a lot of people around the world, and that's definitely a big win. Would love to hear from.
I always try to build good relationships with the people I work with, and I end up doing it with the good people that is around. As you say, in this business, and I think probably like any other industry or any other business, there are a lot of ungrateful people that they are all trying to get what you have, and the nice people that they will happy to share what they have with you, and whether it be a good time or a track, as I told you before, I build my sets with music from a lot of producers. They could be more selfish and don't give me their music, and just keep it for them,
But for them, it's like Hernan's playing her music. It's
okay.
very good to you.
And for me, it's having their music in my set. So that's why it's a two-way thing. So I try to surround myself with the people that they work in a two-way situation. Like a lot of my friends that already, and I think you can easily tell. In the industry, we don't have to give names, but who's the people that have more heart, more spirit, and in the end is the happier people, and I try to be surrounded by them. I don't pay much attention to people, negative people. I just try to not to be close, to not let them interfere in what I do. As I said, everywhere there's negative people, but just don't pay.
So would you tell the young people like us, the DJs and producers and young guys who are rooting up, to not actually care about the negativity or how to take it in their aspect?
I would try, as I said, not surround by negative people, and if I would be like you as a promoter, I would don't bring DJs, or I don't work with people like that, it's very easy to spot who's
read the vibe
on each side, and just surround by good people, and brings good energy and good vibes. I know, as I said, there's enough good people in the industry to just work with them. You don't need to work with ungrateful people. We all in this business. When I say business, I'm not talking about money, right? Sorry, because my English is so. I mean, in our business is in what we do. Money comes very late in life compared to our what should be our expectations, and also, as I said, you want to be, most of we DJs, the ones are successful. When we started, we were not expecting this. We were just being happy by playing music for 20 of our friends. So if after you grow up in life and you do well and you succeed, and if you are not grateful and you are not able to be positive and share everything with everybody else, it's because, I don't want to say a bad word, but you know what I'm thinking.
Yes, exactly.
How you can be ungrateful after having that,
Indeed. It's a very special thing that I think every artist should really focus on right now, because an artist in itself is a mark of a society. The artists are always looked upon, so they always come up with a certain amount of responsibility, and people look up to them. And when they look up to them, they kind of follow what they do, in terms of pressing, in terms of talking, in terms of vacationing, or their attitude. And if you kind of disperse a wrong vibe, of course it goes into their downline and people start,
I think it's very easy to tell, it's like anything, in sports as well. There are football players that they are amazing players and they are lovely guys, and there are others that you don't want to see them, regardless that they are great players, because they are arrogant and super ego, and you're like, I don't enjoy watching this guy play. And I think it's the same for DJs, and everybody knows what look at legendary guys, like Carl Cox, for example. Everybody loves him, and he's been a super legendary DJ for so long. But he's always been a super nice guy, always with a smile, always happy. He's grateful to what we have, what he had, and So that's the good message.
I think one of the most important reasons why people kind of tend to not think 100% positive is the failures. The failures are somehow anticipated to be a negative thing, but according to me, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room would think that failures are what is the most positive thing in your life, that it builds something, inside you.
I've been a DJ for more than 30 years, and the first 12 I was not successful at all, and I never changed nothing because of that. I was keep going and going and going,
Did you have an advisor? Did you have someone telling you?
No, I was super stubborn, I told you. I was super stubborn that I was hearing club music or house music, and I was thinking, this is amazing. How is it possible that it's not popular in Argentina? So I was keep going and keep going, because I think they're gonna have to like it. This is super, super good. And finally, I succeed. But if I had to judge for my first year's experience, I would have been a failure completely. But that wouldn't stop me to. And if you think, a lot of successful people around the world in different areas, they are like that. It's not that overnight success. And I said many times, normally overnight success is
short-lived.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a firecracker.
It's better if you learn how to lose first.
Well, that's exactly one of the things that I really worked on over the last few years, was to start appreciating my failures. Which is what is one of the most key structures for all growing artists and stuff, that never get disheartened by failures. That's more failures. Make sure that you're going to be really rocking it 10 years or 5 years or 15 years down the line. More the merrier. So failures definitely, I think, build the artist within us in various many ways. The current music industry in the world, it's exploding. The way things are moving. Do you think the real flavor of music is being lost in terms of business? I mean, is business taking over the authenticity or the flavor or the art part of music, because it's all converting to how many albums you can sell, how many tickets your show gets? I mean, what according to you is going on?
Well, of course there is a big part of that, all the corporate kind of management and the way the festival, the big brands they run. But it's up to us, the DJs and the producers, to keep our side, exactly, like I work with the management and with the agents, and I work with big festivals. But when it comes to play the music, I play what I think is good and not what they think I should. You know what I mean? So I think there is a big corporate thinking that's not necessarily always good for the artist side of things.
When we program artists also for our club, sometimes we are compelled to think that, okay, I want to put A, B, C, D, E, but A, B, C, D are great DJs, great producers, but they don't know anybody and they will not pull any crowd. E is going to pull the crowd. So we put E, his music is not that great, but the club is going to charge me for that X amount of thing that I'm supposed to pay them if I don't raise the money.
I think that's fine, you're trying to keep a balance, because at the same time, it wouldn't be clever to just bring the DJs that you like, but they don't sell any tickets, and then after 3 weeks, the club would say, okay, thank you, don't come next. So if by bringing a DJ that you like a bit less, but you give, especially until you are strong, then you get to a position where you can do whatever you want. It's like the same with the music. Not always, when I said I play only music I like, it wasn't always like that. When I was growing, to have a job in a club, I was happy if I could play 1 hour of music I like and 4 hours of music I didn't like. And I was happy because the last hour I could play the music I like. Then it was 2 hours, then 3, then 4, and now it's all night. So, it's just trying to reach the place where we really want to be.
Thank you for that answer. So we have 8 more minutes left. I would like anyone want to ask the question or so to Hernan.
Shikola has a question.
All right, we have a question from Tel Aviv from a producer.
I have a lot of friends over there.
From Chikola.
Oh, Chikola. Hello, Chikola. Where are you? Where's the camera? Hey, Chikola.
He asks me to ask you, what is the secret of Guy J?
No.
He's a great friend of yours, and you're doing a 20-hour back-to-back somewhere in
December. We did 16 hours last December, and we did 20 hours next December.
Can you imagine 20-hour B2B with Guy J and Hernan Cattaneo?
But that's just love of music, honestly. You know, like, I mean, we don't do that every weekend. You know, it's like once a year, and maybe a couple of other times we play like 10-12 hours. And sometimes people ask, are you not tired? Yeah, of course I'm tired, but I'm more happy than tired, you know, and happiness and having a great time, and it keeps you going. And especially, you know, there are certain special places to do that. You don't do 10-20 hour set in any club or any situation, you know. For example, this one we do at Stereo in Montreal, which is for us one of the best clubs in the world. It has an amazing sound system, a super good crowd. It's a place that they have a license to go 24 hours if they want, and it's like what I call like a club for professional clubbers, you know, because everybody that goes there go just for dance, you know. There's no decoration, no VIP, you know, just an amazing sound system, a great room for dance, and even in apart from the bar, there is machines with Gatorade, like in the gym, you know, yeah, exactly. So you know, it's like a special place to do it, you know. So and we know when I do back-to-backs, not just with Guy J, with Nick Warren or with Danny Howells or Henry or my friends who I do, we always play 3 tracks each. So that helps to keep the flow, you know, for first. DJs will understand that. But also helps you go a long time, because you play like 15-20 minutes, then you have 15-20 minutes off to relax, have a chat with someone, come back. So you don't, you know, of course in the long term you feel tired, but it's not as as exhausting like when you are on your own. You know, you are focused on what you're doing. After 6-7 hours, you really feel the tiredness. But if you are in and out, you can go for long, and you know, we just prepare. You sleep well before. You have some bananas nearby.
Yeah, because it's also the B2Bs are becoming very popular of late. You know, it's a very intelligent thing to do. Most of the times, when you're not used to playing together, but you still are on the same level, but it still takes some level of intelligence to leave the space or to do your bit.
Well, I only do back-to-backs with people I like personally and music-wise, you know. Otherwise I would, why?
The vibe has to be.
Why would I do that otherwise, you know? It's someone that you're gonna share a lot of time, and you have to love that person to let them say, okay, now you rock it, and I don't, you know, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Be generous with that. And depends on the guys who play. If I play with Guy or if you play with Nick, it's different because they are different, and you know, so each one has its own music personality, and you know, and so it depends on how you play the night. But as I said, you know, we never prepare those. Like, I never ever talk about music before a back-to-back with Guy, with Nick, with nobody. Like, never planned, just, you know, we go with the flow. But that's why, as I say, because I trust them musically and they trust me musically. So I know that it's almost impossible that I'm gonna be a back-to-back with those guys and I'm gonna go through a moment and say, oh, what is he playing? Why is this? No, it never happened. You know, it's actually quite the contrary. He said, oh, what is this he playing? You know?
Cool, so we come to
bye, Chico, we love you.
Alright, the last part of this whole talk show. Over the last 48 hours, I've realized Hernan, he's a believer of synchronicity. He believes that everything happens for a reason, and there's a time allotted for it, whether it is meeting somebody, getting a show, becoming a DJ, becoming a better DJ, traveling, getting a girlfriend, starting family. It's all part of a plan and a timing, and it's all synchronicity. Things come together from different sides and help you shape a better today. How have you come to this conclusion that it plays a big role in today?
Well,
Timing of
it could be impossible to be so lucky so many times in your life. You know, like if I would tell you all what people call lucky breaks, it would be impossible to have so many lucky breaks. So there must be something else. So of course, you know, as I said, you know, I strongly believer in karma and stuff. But I have a really good timings in my career, but not because I planned that. They happen that way. Or I told you the other day, I'm not gonna bore you with details, but the way I met my wife, it was like an impossible situation, and it happened, And at the moment it happened, and at the moment in my career it happened, and then like here, like for 7 years I didn't come to India, and we plan to come February 24 to Mumbai, and then after that we know that ADE is happening the same day, and then my album is launching in the same day, and nobody planned that, but it's all happening today. So
and today you have a podcast on Above and Beyond Therapy as well, and there's big followers here for that as well. It's all,
and we have the great show tonight. So it's like it cannot be all those things together. It cannot be just
worked out.
It's somebody is synchronizing all that.
Great. So the idea behind everything, basically, we would like to conclude is by saying that just have faith in whatever's going wrong or whatever's going right. It's happening according to a plan. We are sitting across as per a plan. You could be sitting somewhere else. Hernan would definitely not be here, if it not been for certain energies and ways things have moved around. So just trust the timing of being here and being present in each other's aura, and there is a reason that we are all together in this room, and just trust that it's for some big good that's about to come to us in near future. Your last words, please.
No, I mean I agree on what you say, but I think regarding DJs and producers and the people here, like the most important thing is that you have to have your own identity and personality. I never get tired of saying this because it's really important.
It's very important.
Have your identity or personality, follow what you think is good, and try hard and harder and harder and harder. And if you are right and if it's really good, sooner or later you're gonna go through. And that's the thing. That's what gets you to wherever you want to be. You can be success or not, but you're not gonna be happy if you're not trying enough, or if you change what you really wanted from your heart just to go somewhere that is not gonna be your place.
Thank you very much for taking our time and coming here and lighting our worlds up. Big round of applause. Thank you everybody for being here, and special thank you to the Amsterdam Dance Event for giving us this opportunity.